dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living. I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. Then I was young and unafraid, and dreams were made and used and wasted. There was no ransom to be paid, no song unsung, no wine untasted. But the tigers come at night. But the tigers come at night, with their voices soft as thunder, as they tear your hope apart. As they tear your hope apart. As they turn your dream to shame. I dream she'll come to me, that we will live the years together. But there are dreams that cannot be, and there are storms we cannot weather. I had a dream my life would be so different from this hell I'm living, so different now from what it seemed. Now life has killed the dream I dreamed.
Hey girls, it's Wednesday. I used to think of myself as a dreamer. Somehow or other I ended up on the website for the Disney College program. And I said, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that with my life. I spent those 2 years taking more classes than was recommended. And I had an associate's degree in just 2 years. I mean, I even had to make arrangements with all my teachers to take my finals early. I missed my own graduation from college so that I could go to Disney. And I lived a dream there. Every day was so magical, even on those weeks when I was exhausted because I was working more hours than my body was able to handle. I still was able to make those magical moments for guests. And it still made my day all the much brighter for it. I couldn't imagine a life happier than that. And I think part of me wanted to stay there forever and never come home. But there was a part of me that I've always been told growing up that you need a college education. So I went back to California and I was going to get my bachelor's degree. I chose film because at that time I had discovered that I had a love for editing video, and I thought I could really bring my passions to life in film. In the first quarter I had a blast. I just loved everything about my school. And then the second quarter I started to feel the toll of my disease. I didn't know it at the time, but I was just exhausted all the time. I didn't have the energy to do all the things I needed to do for school. To my credit, I got pretty good grades despite how close to just dropping, I felt all the time. Like I was just on the edge of a cliff about to fall off. And then I started to go blind. My whole life changed. I felt dizzy all the time and constantly having this feeling like I was going to pass out. The head pain was getting overwhelming. When I had my first surgery, I thought, this is it. This will get my symptoms under control and I can go back to my life. And I tried. I went back to school that summer. And then that feeling came back, like you're on the edge of a cliff. You're falling off. And the pain came back and the dizziness, and there's just no control. So I had my second surgery and I thought, okay, maybe this is gonna do it. Maybe I can get back to my life now. And within a month, I had pain in my abdomen that was so severe I could barely do anything. It was infection, and it traveled up my shunt to my brain. It was January, a couple months later, before they even figured out what it was. I spent a month in the hospital. I had 2 more surgeries. And for a little bit after that, I felt kind of normal, and I thought, you know, life is going to get better, and I need to prepare for my future. And I sat down and I made a list of all the things at Disney that had made me happy, and I tried to think of careers that would maximize those abilities. And I found this thing for a Girl Scout camp job, and I just fell in love with it. I was so passionate about it because I believed in the ideals that Girl Scout stands for. And the idea of doing it just lit me up with a fire. And I was so happy. I took a scrapbook and I made all these notes of things that I was going to do. There were camp games, there were leadership tips, there were songs, and it had pictures, and I just put so much of my heart into it. Part of the job was I had to get a physical, and I went to my doctor and she put me on a bunch of restrictions because she was still scared from the infection I had had in January, and she didn't think I was ready to take on a job like that. And so I told my camp director, and they talked it over, and they decided that I was too much of a liability and that they weren't going to hire me. And it broke my heart. It was like watching my life fall to pieces, and there was just nothing I could do. And then I got sick. I got a cold, and when I got that cold, somehow it got into my shunt, and my shunt got infected again, and my symptoms were starting to get out of control again. Finally, months later, I went to the doctor, and they found the infection, and it just felt like a never-ending cycle of getting sick and going to the doctor. And I tried to go back to school before I got too sick to go. I found out that I'm about 9 classes away from being a certified teacher. I don't know if I ever told you that. It's 9 classes that I can take at a community college away from being a certified teacher that can teach in elementary school. And yet it might as well be a lifetime away because I'm just too sick. I can't go to school and complete the classes. I could barely get out of bed in the morning. I just want my life back. I don't know how I'll ever find myself again. Because as long as this disease rules my body, I'm not myself. And I don't recognize the person that's here. I try so hard to pretend to I'm still capable of living the life that I dream. My body says no. And that's all I have to say about dreams. And I'll see you tomorrow.